Good morning, everyone. Want to thank the grace of heaven and virtue of enlightened masters, virtue of transmitters, mercy of transmitters, and confidence placed by all of you for the opportunity to learn to discuss this topic, be grateful and cherish blessings. We just had Thanksgiving behind us. I missed this Thanksgiving get together, and I'm sure you all had a good one. And I'm sure you have a lot of things that you are grateful. Grateful. And as you see, it says this picture. It says today is World Gratitude Day. Do you know when is that?
Every day.
Every day, yeah, right. But actually, the United Nations, huh?
Is it during fall time because of the leaves?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good guess.
October or something.
Right. Actually, United Nations set aside September 21st as a World Gratitude Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was established in 1965, and it gives everyone a chance to really think of what they have and to communicate that gratitude, hoping that if everyone's heart is filled with gratitude, then we have a happier and more peaceful world. So this is my topic today, and actually gratitude is so important. It's the I saw some place where it says gratitude is the parent of all virtues, and it's also the sign of the noble soul. Okay, the sign of the noble soul. Our heart is only alive when we are really conscious of what we have, of our conscious of the treasures that we have. Okay, but somehow we tend to think that we have to have a big house, or we have to have a lot of material possession, or we need to have a promotion so that we are happy or we are grateful. But really, the good things, they come in many different forms. It can be big or small. Okay. These are some of the statistics that I found on the internet. It says if you woke up this morning in good health, you have more luck than 1 million people who won't live through the week. And if you have a full fridge, clothes on your back, and roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are wealthier than 75% of the world's population. And if you can go to your place of worship without fear that someone will assault or kill you or persecute you, then you are luckier than 3 million people, billions people. And if you have never experienced the horror of war, the solitude of prison, the pain of torture, were not close to death from starvation, then you are better off than 500 million people. And if your parents are still alive and still married, you are a real individual. Okay. And if you're reading this now, you don't comprise one of the 2 billion people who can read. Okay, so this actually, there are so many things that we can be grateful every day, but we tend to overlook them. Okay, there's this story. There's a man who was very poor, and this family of 6, 2 parents and 4 children, they kind of live in a very small house. So he was very painful because it was so crowded. So he went to talk with one of the wiser person and asking for help. Hopefully there will be some miracle. And so this wise person asked him, besides people, what else do you have? He said, I have sheep, I have chickens, I also have a cow. And so the wise person told him, go home and bring those animals inside your house. And this man, he had the faith in this wise person, so he just followed what he said. And so he brought all his animals inside the house. And then a few days later, he came back to the wise person. He said, "Oh, my world is even more miserable." Okay, he said, all these animals, they are taking up the space, and with their, the animals mowing, or all this noises is driving the whole family crazy. And so this wise person told him, "Okay, go home and you can take the car out." Okay, and so he went back and did so. And a few days later, he went to the wise person. He said, "That still didn't solve my problem. Those animals were still making a lot of noises and making things even more impossible." So he went back, and so the last time he went back, and the wise person told him to remove all the animals from his home. And so when he came back the final time, he told the wise person, "Oh, I feel much better now." So I guess you heard the meaning of
story.
Yeah
Story.
the moral of the story. We all actually we try to pursue more, and we never realize that actually we already have a lot, or we are already in a perfect state. Okay, because what we have in this lifetime is really dictated by what we by our karmic destiny. So we should be content with what we have. Okay, just be content with the moment, the present. There are three agendas I want to go through. Number one is why be grateful. Two, what are we grateful for? And then to show our gratitude, we have to cherish the blessings or the treasures that we already have. Okay, so why should we be grateful? We all want to live a good life, right? We all want to have abundance, a good job, a happy family. But when the reality fall through, we tend to want to complain. But just think of the law of attraction. Like attracts like. Like attracts like. I'm not sure if you have read the book, The Secret by, what's her name? Rhonda Byrne, right? When we complain, then we send out those frequency to the outside world, and the same frequency, the same type of energy is going to bounce back to us. Okay, so when we feel grateful, when we have that gratitude, then we feel content. We have the feeling of contentment, and we also have the happy feeling, and that's going to also send out a lot of positive energy and a good. That's why Dr. Wendy said the rich always gets richer, because I guess most of the time they are content, they are happy. So they have a lot of positive energy around them. Yeah. So it's very important to have that good energy, to feel grateful, to be content. So gratitude can also help us focus on the positive things. Yeah, when we are gratitude, we are grateful. Then we always think of the what we have, and we are content, and we will think that we are the blessed one. We are the one with more privilege, and so that's going to turn into some kind of positive feeling that we have to give up. And in the same time we are receiving, we also have to be giving. Okay, so we will always look at things from a positive perspective, and being grateful helps remove the influence of egos. An attitude of gratitude allows us to be humble. Yeah. So when we are grateful, then it means that we are usually not very we call egoistic, right? We don't feel like these things I can take these things for granted. It's not something that someone else or heaven or earth owe me. When we are grateful, we feel we are filled with awe and respect. Okay, so it will also instill the feeling of humility in us. Okay, and when we have the humility, then we can always have better relationship with people. No matter how capable we are or how incapable we are, we all like to be with people, associated with people who are very humble, very modest, right? We don't like to be with people who are very proud or arrogant. Yeah. So when we are grateful, then we are humble, and then we are able to connect better with people, with the world, and with nature. Also, gratitude is an antidote to negative emotion. It's also a neutralizer to envy, hostility, worry, and irritation. Okay, yeah, so when we are grateful, we always count our blessings, and we always think of people who don't have as much as we have. So we, a grateful person usually has also a very tender heart, right? Yeah, and they will get away get rid of all these bad feelings or bad temperaments, such as hostility, worry, irritations. Here are some of the quotes by some people from the different walks of life. Melody Beatty, I think she is a writer. She's a writer that writes a lot of books on self-help, inspirational. And she said, gratitude makes sense of our past, bring peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. It's very profound. And Leonore Hampton, he's a jazz player. He said, gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in the mind. So gratitude is something from our heart, not from some logical or analytical thinking. Okay, it's really from our Buddha nature. So a person who really cultivates the Tao must have at least, a good sense of gratitude. And gratitude is not only the greatest of virtue, but the parent of all others. This is by Marcus Cicero. He is a very well-known Roman philosopher. Buddha says, let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. Okay. We'll talk more about this later. And as with all commandments, gratitude is a description of a successful mode of living. The thankful heart opens our eyes to a multitude of blessings that continually surround us. This is by James Forrest. I think he's an American philosopher. Forster, right? Forster, right? Yeah, so these are I think they're very profound explanation or interpretation of what gratitude and what it does to us. Lao Tzu said, when you realize that there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. So if we have the basic necessities that can help us survive, then we are already very rich. Melody again, she said, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. I remember when I went back to China, my friend took me to one of the restaurants near the airport. And I asked a simple, noodle soup. And they also try the noodle soup, and they say, "Oh, this is so, it's not tasteful at all to them."
Too bland.
Bland, yeah. It's like water, because they didn't know how to. This is a regular restaurant, and they didn't know how to cook a vegetarian meal dish. So they kind of just put water and then noodle and then vegetables and salt, maybe a little bit of oil, and that's it. But for me, I think it's still very delicious. Yeah, for a lot of us, if we can just have a dish of vegetables and some rice, that's already quite sumptuous for us. Okay, so what are we grateful for? Okay, now for Confucianism, those who understand Chinese, we have often heard about 天地君亲师, right? Okay, so it's 天地, okay, heaven and earth, and then Jun is like the president or the prime minister, or it's the leader of a country, okay, and then the parents, and last one, actually, they are all together 5, but I put heaven and earth together, and then the mentor. So heaven really provides us with what? Sun, moon, the rain, oxygen. Remember the raging California wildfire. It was put out because they had one day of plentiful rain. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes people might mudslides. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah, they want to blame nature for being unkind, but actually, I read through some article, and actually we can still attribute the wildfire in California to some human undertaking, like the global warming, and also the deforestation, and also like construction, and of course the carelessness of human when they're doing the camping or outside activities. Yeah, but heaven gives us not only just all these natural resources, it also gives us, most important, remember, from the first chapter of the doctrine of man, is what heaven bestows us is what? Our Buddha nature gives us the Buddha nature. Although our parents give us the physical being, the physical entity, but heaven or the Tao gives us our spirituality, our soul, our true self. Okay, and then the earth is also very giving and all providing. Give us the earth, water and whatever the natural abundance, flowers, plants, the beautiful scenery. Yeah, so there's a lot we can be thankful. And then the leader of a country establish rules, teaches us how to make living, how to progress, how to grow. It also gives us all the protocols, right? How we behave in the public. It also provides the stability, social stability or safety, and also all this, agriculture, industry, banking, education. So we have to be thankful to them. And our parents, of course, we have the filial piety class, in which we learn that there are how many graces? 10 graces from our parents, right? Okay. And then actually Qin here is I put down as parents, but it can also be all of our family members, our relatives, whether it's immediate or distant relatives. They all care for us. They all look up to us. They inspire us. They also give us encouragement. So a lot of things that we can be thankful to. And then mentors or the teachers, okay? Strictly, narrowly speaking, these are like our school teachers or maybe our teachers at temple, but really everyone around us can be our teacher, right? It can be our siblings, our parents, our relatives, our friends, our co-workers, even someone we pass by on the street, for the good things or the right things they do. We also have to be grateful that we have this body, right? So we can function. We have to be thankful to our senses. We can see beautiful things. We can read, right? We can hear beautiful music or the chirping of birds, the trickling of water and things like that. And also we have hands and legs, feet, and right. Yeah, some people are complaining, I don't get a pair of beautiful or name brand shoes for this Christmas. But think of people who don't even have a foot
to wear it.
Right. So it's already a blessing when we are healthy. We have whatever we should have, right? And then we also have to be thankful for the place that we call home, okay? And it's a place that we can go back to, after days' work of study.
People in California that their homes burned down, they don't even have a home to live.
Right.
They live in tents now.
Yeah. So sometimes we might be spending time and efforts trying to build or create a beautiful mansion, but really all we need is just something to shelter us from the weather, to provide the warmth, and then we also have to thank our Mother Nature for giving us all this, the food, and also all these natural landscapes, water, hills, whatever there's so much, and also for arts, civilization or culture, right? For us to enjoy, to get inspired, and for science and technology, that really improve our quality of life. Okay, but talking about this, we always think like happiness is equal to a higher standard of living, but really they do happiness index, and it turned out which country is the happiest. Do you want to take a guess?
Singapore?
No.
What did you say?
Singapore. One year it was Singapore.
I'm sure they're few.
It's one of the Scandinavian.
The Scandinavian countries.
Scandinavian?
Is it?
No, it's actually Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yeah, they are one of the poorest nation in the world, but somehow
Happy.
they are very happy because I guess they don't have a lot of things to worry about, right?
Well, there is this these two men that are super successful in business, but they're not happy. Okay, they have a nice house, fully furnished, and then one day they decided to get rid of a lot of things because a lot of things they don't use in the house. So all they have is a table and a few chairs, and that's it. And they become much happier because now they say, I don't have to clean so much because I have less, and I don't need all those junk, and I can spend my time doing things I enjoy. So it's not what you have that counts. It's what you need. That's all. You only need what's the basics. That's all.
Right. Yeah. I have friends who have a lot of houses, and
not happy.
all the time they spend a lot of time, renovating the houses or taking care of the problems, and I don't think they really enjoy having them. And one of them even voiced that it's really not a good thing to have so many properties, so many possessions. Yeah. Okay. We also have to be grateful and going back to our body. we have to be very grateful, because without this body, we have no chance of receiving the Tao, and we have no chance to correct our faults from our past lifetimes, and we don't have the chance to perform merits to help us on the path of cultivation or towards enlightenment. And also, we have to also be grateful for having this lifetime. Okay, remember there are what we call the four 修道四难
The four
difficulties in
cultivation.
it's not just cultivation, but maybe receiving the Tao. And one of the most, what comes first is 人生, the human body. Yeah. It's very rare, although we kind of take it for granted, but they have an analog, right? They compare the chance of having this human life as dropping down a thread, a tiny thread from a very high mountain like Himalaya. And this thread is going to have to, go into the eye of the needle. And there's also wind blowing. So what's the chance of having the thread meeting the eye needle? There are also other analogies. But so we really have to appreciate for having this human life. And so we have to appreciate this lifetime. We also have to appreciate the virtue of ancestors, because their virtue really has a very big impact on us. It's not just having a good life, a blessed life. It's also because of their virtue, we are able to receive this blessing, the Tao. And we also have to be grateful that we encounter this Tao. Like lecture Jean talked about, if we come maybe 1,000 years earlier, or maybe 100 years later, we might not be able to encounter the Tao. And also the enlightened masters who are able to transmit the Tao to us. Okay, so we also have to be grateful for the ability to receive and cultivate the Tao. And those are the good things that we have to be grateful. But actually, we also have to be grateful for something negative, something not so pleasant, because they really help us grow and help us grow stronger. Okay, like criticism or opposition. Okay, yeah, it's a good reminder of whether or not we still have faults, and whether or not we still can. It's not that we are looking for acceptance by others, but we are in this world, and we just have to be able to live peacefully with other people. So it's important. Other people's opinions of us are also important, and that we have to take into consideration. But when we hear criticism or opposition, it's time that we reflect on us, we introspect and see if we still have those areas that we need to improve. Challenges, disappointments, or pains. Okay, these are things that can help us correct our problems. When we meet with difficulties and we get over it, then our ability also improve. So these are things that can help us become stronger. Like this one says, I think this is from Buddha, right? Yeah. So thank those who hurt us, because they harden our determination. Thank those who deceive us, because they promote our wisdom. Thank those who defame us, because they temper our character. And thank those who defeat us, because they inspire our winning spirit. And thank those who desert us, because they teach us to be independent. And thank those who make us stumble, because they help strengthen our legs. Thank those who criticize us, because they make us aware of our shortcomings. So we have to be grateful to all who make us stronger. Okay. So here are a few more quotes like this one. He said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. So I think, remember, Holy Teacher said, happiness is not in how much or what we possess, but rather that we don't complain, we don't haggle. Okay. Doris Day says that gratitude is riches. When we have gratitude in our heart, we are a rich person. Okay. Complaint is poverty. If talk about from the law of attraction or from the cultivation of our inner virtue, this is very true, right? When we have gratitude, then we will never look at things that we don't have. We always look at things that we have, right? We don't
Compare.
Yeah, we don't compare, and we are not obsessed with possessing. Now, this is what John Kennedy said. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Yeah. So we know we have so many things that we have to be grateful for, but we should not just always say we are grateful. And this gratitude should really be translated into actions. So we need to treasure or cherish the blessings that we have. Materials, with, like. Papers, whatever we have, clothes, food, just whatever necessity of life we have, these are things that we have to treasure. Natural resources like, water, electricity, things like that.
Heat now.
Also heat. Yeah. Because if we don't treasure, and we don't really make sure to not to over abuse it, yeah. And someday, then we are going to, this thing will come to a day. Will come to a day of
no resources,
and and so we have to really treasure
water. Don't waste water.
Yeah, yeah, and also we not only that, we also should try our best to maintain or reserve all these natural resources, so that someday we'll. Sometimes, in order to pursue in the material things, so we over manufacture, right? And this is done at the cost of natural resources, and which in turn creates a lot of problems, like global warming, and so someday we are really bring about the destruction to ourselves if we don't really start taking care of or reserving our natural resources. We also have to cherish nature, which is kind of similar to the second point. We also have to cherish others' efforts and contributions. Sometimes we feel we are very competent. We are able to fulfill some tasks or goals alone. Even this is a project, I do it single-handedly, solo. We still have to remember we are doing this based on some foundations. Like we do a project, there's already people who develop this software, okay? And there's also people who already created papers, the printing and things like that. Without all this, so it's really nothing can be done alone, okay? So we really have to appreciate other people's contributions. Yeah. We also have to cherish our health. Yeah, this is something I kind of have to pay special attention to. I think sometimes in the past I've been overburning myself. So when I went back to China this time, I went to one of the Zhongyi, person who practiced traditional Chinese medicine, and she told me that I need to be very careful because I had some back pain, and she said that could be a reflection of heart problem. And so she also knew that I've been sleeping late, and she gave me really, a red light warning. And remember, if we don't have good health, then we cannot start to talk about, cultivation, right? And remember, this body was given by our parents. So we just like the book of filial piety says that we have to, really treasure it. We have to, because when we are ruining our health, then we are not being filial, right? Because this is a gift from our parents, and we are causing them to worry. Yeah. For example, my mother worried a lot about me.
Yeah. She wouldn't worry so much if she's sick, but she's worried more when the children are sick.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I guess we really need to have, I would say, adopt a wiser way of living. Although we want to do more, but we also need to have a good balance. And we also need to treasure our time and life, okay, not to squander any time. Make sure that our time is well spent, our efforts are well spent. It's going to contribute to our goal, to the fruition of our goal. And we need to cherish the Dharma and teaching. So this refers to all the scriptures and all the sutras, that we have, Diamond Sutra, Heart Sutra, Platform Sutra, whatever you name it, okay. And also the scriptures that Buddhas and saints bestow on us during Dharma class. And when we say we cherish them, it's not just cherish the books, the form, the tangible thing. It's to cherish the wisdom, the truth behind all these teachings. And then to cherish the blessing is also to live in the Tao. We have to treasure the opportunity to cultivate the Tao. Okay. So of course it means that we have to do both internal and external. Internally, we have to try to perfect our virtue, to get rid of the bad habits and temperaments. And on the outside, we have to do our best to bring people to the temple to learn the truth, and hopefully to also get them to receive the blessing. But most importantly, we have to, in order for us to be able to spread the truth, we have to first exemplify the truth. We have to show or manifest the Tao in our conducts, in what we say, what we think, and what we do. And also to cherish our opportunity to receive this Tao, to have the guidance of our predecessors, the enlightening masters, Buddhas and saints, for their grace. Then we also have to work on fulfilling our vows. Okay, and then we are very fortunate. We have really received a lot, and the best gift we all have received in this lifetime is the gift of the Tao, right? Yeah. So we also have to give back. We have to contribute, and only sometimes when we contribute do we realize how precious, how privileged we are. Because sometimes we are living among people who are about the same level as us, and if we really go out, reach out further, we know people who are living a life of misery, not just materially, but also there are people who are very they are plagued with like depression, jealousy, and all sorts of mental problems. These are people that we should try to reach out to. So actually, the amount of people, the number of people we can bring them to receive the Tao can be limited. But I think the idea is that if we have an opportunity to share with people the truth, or the true meaning of life, whatever we hear at a temple, we learn, then I'm sure they might not identify. I mean, they might not accept or agree with us in the beginning, but over time or when they encounter some situations, this might ring in their ear and they might help them. Okay, and then gratitude practice. Write down when we want to complain that we are missing something, we are lacking something. Write down what we have already. Keep doing this every day. And one of the Buddhist monk told us that he gets up every morning and he looks in the mirror and he's grateful he's still alive, and then he still has the opportunity to do a lot of things. So he would keep, smile and laughing loud into the mirror. And so this is going to give him a full day of energy. Okay, so that's something we can all do. So remember, there's always someone in the world worse off than you. So don't waste your life in selfish living. One more thing. Here's something that by Robert Browning. The years at the spring and days at the morn. Mornings at 7. The hillsides dew poured. The larks on the wing. The snails on the thorn. God is in his heaven. All things are right in this world. So this is a very, we say, ideal. Yeah. And actually, this is how Mother Nature gives us. It's how we look at things, how we look at the happenings. Okay. All right. So that concludes my presentation. If I said anything wrong or inappropriate, I ask for forgiveness of Buddhas and saints, and also ask transmitters, lecturers, and all of you to correct me. Thank you.